Today, I'm talking to two very, very important people. We're discussing the collaboration between the Irish Chamber Orchestra and the Irish World Academy of Music and Dance. We're also talking about the brand new scholarship. So let's see what they've got to say.
You can't really tell the story of the Irish World Academy without the story of the Irish Chamber Orchestra, because when the Academy was founded here at the University of Limerick in 1994 by the performer and composer Micheál O'Sullivan, and at the time he had been performing and recording with the then Irish Chamber Orchestra, and John Kelly, who would become the CEO of the Chamber Orchestra, and Micheál had a number of conversations about what would happen if the orchestra relocated to the University of Limerick, which was very unusual at the time, to have an orchestra in residence in a university campus. And with the support of the then Minister for the Arts, now the President of Ireland, Michael D. Higgins, they concocted a plan where the Irish Chamber Orchestra would relocate to the university campus in the context of the growth of this Irish World Academy. And really, since that time, the partnership has been, I think, an intrinsic aspect of the identity of both.
So Diane, can you tell me something about the Masters for Professional String Player?
The very first year that it happened, I was one of the students on the chorus.
Oh, were you?
I was, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There were four of us, two of us from the orchestra, myself and Una.
Oh, okay.
And that was really exciting because that was obviously the first year, the first year. And so that kind of is an important year, isn't it? And, Micheál always had this incredible vision that in order for the education of performers to take place, it was really important to have a professional body actually doing that, alongside the teaching, so it was really a perfect match, really, so that I was working with the orchestra at the time and I was able to do the masters at the same time because they were both woven in together so closely. So it was a fantastic year, really was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Helen, I want to ask you about the ICO scholarship. What does that mean to the Irish World Academy?
Well, I think for me, it's just another example of something that I see as a kind of a track record of the orchestra, which is being unafraid to invest in potential. It's almost like kind of a form of, I think investment in the arts is like, it's almost like venture capitalism. You don't know what that investment is going to mean. So whether you're investing in, a primary school child in Limerick City, or a master's student like these scholarships have enabled from, you were telling me, Diane, from Paraguay, from Hungary, from any corner of the world, investing in the potential of that person to bring their artistry, into the next generation of the way that we think about music in the world and what music can do as part of how we're all grappling with meaning and quality in the world. You need people and you need organizations who are willing to invest in that. And it seems to me that artistic organizations like the Irish Chamber Orchestra, they understand that investing in creativity is a form of investing in our future. So that, I think that's what the scholarships mean to me. It is about it is, of course, for all of us working in that area, a way of fostering and developing talent. But for the person who gets it, it's about, I think, changing a life.
Yeah. And Diane, for you, I can't, in my mind, I keep going back to this thing that you did the course, and now you're the course director. But also I want to try and link the idea of this kind of potential. So for you, what did that mean for you, that your potential was invested in?
I got support when I did the MA programme here. I wouldn't have been able to do it without financial support at the time.
Yeah.
I didn't have any financial means to pay the fees, and a lot of, and any money I would have had, I would have been using it to save, maybe to buy a better violin.
Yes.
Or, there's so many costs.
Yeah.
As a young, classical player, all students, but so I got that support, I got that lift that enabled me to do the MA. And it's just amazing now that the ICO is coming on board to help. There's 2 recipients of the scholarship this year, and it's just fantastic. You know, they're just so grateful, and I wish we did 1,000 more scholarships, of course. You know, but you know, it's great.
When you talk about the benefits, how does it benefit them as performers, as artists, as financially? Of course, it's a great help. But what does it do for them as performers?
Well, I think, you know, it's a very special MA, I have to say. You know, it's quite uniquely designed, and I think it's because it's designed by performers and it's working with professional performers. I think it has an insight into what young professional musicians need at the moment. You know, the music landscape has really changed, as you know yourself, Matthew. You know, it's not about just walking into a job on an orchestra anymore. It's much more about developing these portfolio careers where you have to be really an all-round artist. And, you know, that's what's wonderful about this association with the Irish World Academy. You know, it's not just about going into your practice room and just practicing 12 hours a day. It's not about that anymore. You know, it's about so many other things. Like the students today, they've just spent 2 days working with Tim Cliphouse, you know, one of the best gypsy jazz musicians in the world. And they have just spent the day, you know, learning about harmony and creating melodies and, you know, consolidating all the stuff that they were probably taught very badly in conservatoires, because we tend to be not taught that kind of thing very well. And seeing their confidence over the course of 2 days, you know, playing solos and learning different bowing techniques and learning to play with each other in a really organic way like that. They've learned so much just in 2 days by doing something totally different.
Yeah.
Could I add something about, I think, something that's really important about Diane's leadership, because I think they're in the leadership around a program like this. It's, you know, there are certain things in the way you teach an artist that only an artist can know, only somebody who has done it. And, you know, as you were saying about coming up through the program, Diane was also the first. We have a doctoral program, which is for artists who want to research what they do. Diane was the first person from the orchestra, from the first person in the University of Limerick who came from that classical music background to do it. The first person to get the Irish Research Council Government of Ireland scholarship, which is probably the most prestigious scholarship for this kind of work. And then out of that research, which I think was enabled by the fact that the orchestra was connected with a university, all around the importance of kind of somatic practices and body awareness. Then, Diane, I think you brought that back then into how you teach your students. So that kind of leadership that I think can only come from somebody who has that kind of level of professional practice that you have is also what makes the program very unique, I think.
Yeah, well, I think being a student is a really important part of all we do, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I think we should all be students or have that head of being a student all the time.
Yeah.
Because you just open up so many things that's happening. The world's changing all the time. So we just have to keep learning all the time. And my PhD journey was just amazing. You know, I had Helen and Michal as my supervisors, and it opened up a whole world for me as to, I suppose, the gaps that I had missed in my own musical education. And so what we're ensuring is, or trying to ensure, is that the students that are here, that those holes are addressed and that they get this all-round musicianship and artistry, so that they come out and not only are they able to step into a professional career, but they also are given the tools to help develop a kind of a creative, satisfying musical career for the rest of their lives, which is a real challenge nowadays, you know.
Helen, Diane, thank you so much for taking the time. That was really lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you.